One of the things that I jumped up and down about in 2009 and started taking classes was, this is America, people cheat. Now the crazy energy geeks that were in my class in 2009 are crazy energy geeks. They're going to do way over what the minimum is. I mean, they're going to go way overboard. You know, this is America. As soon as there's any money to be had, people are going to jump in and say, I'm doing Passive House, and they're going to not implement this in the field correctly, and we're going to get these spectacular failures. We need third-party verification. You can't design a really integrated system and then expect American builders to go out and build it and not test it. It just ain't gonna work. There's a different system in Germany. In Germany, the architects in Germany have a mandated fee. How many architects would like to get a mandated fee, right? You'd like that, right? That'd be pretty nice. Now, besides that, you also have to take criminal and civil responsibility for the entire process, from zoning through construction and site safety. So when the German Institute says they want the supervisor of this construction to sign off and say the building was built as designed, chances are that architect is going to sign off and say, yeah, man, it was built as designed, because they're basically acting as design builders. But what was really interesting when I was in Germany maybe 3 years ago was the city of Hamburg started offering incentives for Passive House, and people started cheating. And they were signing off and not doing Passive House, and they actually created their own system of third-party people to go out and verify that people are actually building Passive Houses and not just signing off and saying they're building Passive Houses. So the cheating thing, turns out, is not just an American trait. When we're doing our calculations, FIAS requires that there's a third-party reviewer. So if I do my calculation, I send it to FIAS, they'll review it. PHI requires there's a third-party calculation unless you are a certifying body. If you are a certifier, you can certify your own stuff. To me, that's kind of silly, because for me, as a person who's filling out this spreadsheet of how many hundreds of things that I can potentially miskey, I want somebody to find all my mistakes. So certifying your own stuff to me is a little questionable, unless you're giving it to somebody who is a peer who can review it and certify it for you. So there's a little difference there. They both require the blower door test. FIAS requires third-party construction inspection, which is not required on Passive House Institute. Thermal imaging, which is really important. These buildings are supposed to be not only airtight, but also continuously insulated. And I can tell you from doing continuous insulation, Rob and I have been doing a lot of this, we think we do a great job. And then Rob heats up the building overnight, he goes out before the sun's up, and he shoots it with his thermal image camera, and guess what? We see little holidays where we missed. And you can't see it. It's really easy to fix. You drill a little hole, put some foam in there, go back and reshoot, and it's done. But that level of commissioning is what you need to be able to assure that you're not having a cold spot that's going to start creating potential for condensation on the back of that sheathing. And if you ever want to really see how this can happen, this happened up in Alaska. They were building SIPS houses where they put a ridge beam and they'd lay their SIP panels up like that, and they didn't really close that joint, and that warm, moist air was coming up and hitting the bottom of that sheathing, and within a few years they were just rotting out ridge beams. So, I mean, this is something that we want to make sure that we're actually doing.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me tell you something. FIAS does not require the thermal imaging. It is recommended. I personally, in all the specs I write, require it. I have found that you cannot get thermal continuity without it. Now, back to the lecture.
Ventilation, both of them require ventilation commissioning. FIAS also requires heating and cooling system commissioning, electrical commissioning. They both require a construction supervisor's declaration.